I've always been very charitable. I've displayed that to my kids almost to a fault. Sometimes we might suffer a little bit over giving too much sometimes, I guess, and that can be a fault. But had a friend that I'd seen work a little bit here on the place. 3 weeks ago it was. He had moved off to Tennessee for a week. Family had to come back to the area. And Jordan had him a job lined up, actually, with my cousin. So I said, yeah, you're welcome to stay here a few days. 3 weeks ago. Yeah, y'all know how that story ended. Problem was, the first day he went to work, he drug up about 2 hours in and said he was tired. Jordan's out there as a type 1 diabetic, just getting after it. So we don't cotton too much to laziness. But I turned my head and let Jordan learn his lesson about being charitable and letting it turn into expectation. But we rocked along about 2-3 weeks and had to talk with him about a week and a half ago, a little soft approach. They didn't know what was kind of expected out of a young man his age at 21. Not his daddy, wasn't trying to be, but hopefully it kind of light him up. Didn't. Go figure. He decided about 3 days after that he'd file for unemployment. And I asked him what he was filing unemployment on. He didn't know, but he thought he'd get him a check. Of course, that wasn't coming. Thank goodness. Finally, it was it. I'd sweated enough and worked enough and watched Jordan and I walk by him as he sat on that couch and played video games. Not Jordan, but this young man, all day. Wouldn't look for a job. He had it easy, so to speak. But I told him I felt sorry for him because he didn't have a way to eat. He had to depend on someone else to feed him to make sure that he was cool at night and had the luxuries that working folks didn't get to afford. He looked me dead in the eye. I didn't know what to expect the next day, whether I'd get pushed back or whether it'd be a long, drawn-out process of him moving on. But I told him I needed an answer by the next evening what his plan in life was, because by default, he had made me an authority figure in his life. And to my surprise and relief, I even told him that I didn't even want to grow old in a country where there was a lot of guys like him, because he'd fooled me. I thought he had a work ethic. Next evening, I come home from work, didn't know what I was going to get into with his final exit strategy. Walked in, there he stood all packed up, dressed. First thing out of his mouth was, I'm going to move into a trailer. I got 2 job offers. Be out tomorrow. Why did I wait 3 weeks to do that, y'all? So maybe he does have a little bit of oomph in him after all. Time will tell. Thought about that, and sometimes you hate to kick a man when he's down, and he'd put himself in that position, and I think he's probably depressed like so many of the youngins are these days because they don't have anything they think to be hopeful for, so they just sit there and they mope and they wait for that assistance. Slaves they are to their own demise. But if you'll take a man and encourage him and tell him he can do better, but he's got to try, he'll do it most times. And if he don't, the luxury ends. Felt like I was disrespecting everybody on this place that had been raised here. This place knew work and faith and family, and we laughed and played hard. But man, I thought many times what would happen if Mimog strolled in there and seen somebody sitting on the couch all day under the AC with work to be done. Wouldn't have lasted 3 weeks, I promise you. Anyway, that was free. But Jordan learned a big lesson, and I learned a little lesson about being too soft too long. But he saw that there are limits to charity, and it needs to end when it becomes expected. Have yet to get a thank you from that young man, but I'll be satisfied to be thanked with hearing he's doing well and on his own 2 feet, with a good job and a family in his own place. Reckon that's thanks enough. Right, sissy? Thought maybe one of them turkeys would rattle off with a gobble, but Probably take Jordan's air horn to do it. That's the funniest thing. You have to scare them right now to gobble them. That's just their response. Jordan was out here helping me unload feed the other evening. I said, "Hey, hit that horn." And he hit about 2 bars of that little old goofy horn on his truck that he loved so much. And Sissy stared, and turkeys went to gobbling. I said, "Do it again." So here we are playing the Dukes of Hazzard horn, and turkeys gobbling. If that ain't country, I don't know what is, y'all. Ain't that something? But all is well. We're hatching another batch of chickens.